We left when Joanne was apprehensive about what she would find ahead when she reached Eldoret. When she reached the place where she had been mistaken for a bride, that is Burnt Forest, she could not help smiling. She thought of her cousin Jamila. I hope she settled well in her marriage, she said, or she thought. A sweet slumber came upon her. She woke up when the vehicle was approaching the outskirts of Eldoret town. Finally, the driver parked at the main bus stop. In a twinkling of an eye, the driver had come to the entrance of the Nissan. He seemed to be looking for something or someone worriedly. Joanne's heart skipped a bit. What could be wrong now? She wondered. Bananas, toothpaste, traditional medicines and all your house needs. I'm the answer to all your problems. Her thoughts were interrupted by a hawker who came to sell his wares to the passengers who were alighting. He was shouting in broken Kiswahili. Joanne was moving from her seat at the back of the vehicle towards the door. Instantly, she recognized the driver. Oh no, he can't see me now, she panicked. The passenger behind her noticed she was hesitating to alight and pushed her towards the door. Her eyes met the driver's and she read something. Buddy, please come and help me ignite this vehicle. I must be in Nairobi as soon as possible and we're already late. A fellow driver called out to the Nissan driver. Buddy hesitated, whispered something into the ears of the conductor while looking at Joanne. Then he left to go and help his fellow driver. Joanne was terrified. The passenger in front of her alighted and told the conductor to bring him his luggage at the back, which was stored at the back of the Nissan. As he went, Joanne whispered a prayer and stepped out of the Nissan. As fast as her legs could carry her, she went to the taxi zone. How much is it to 64 Stadium? She asked the taxi driver that she had come across. Before he could respond, Joanne jumped into the co-driver's seat, almost knocking the driver out of the vehicle. Let's go, hurry, she commanded the driver, who was still in a daze. He had never seen such a passenger. However, he obliged and pulled out of the parking lot. As he was about to exit the stage area, he saw a man waving frantically for him to stop. He slowed down and Joanne got angry. Madam, that is my boss. I must listen to him, said the driver with finality in his voice. So he stopped the car and the man came next to the window where Joanne was seated. So the man came next to the window where Jane was seated. Madam, I wanted to tell you that part of your dress is hanging outside the car. Embarrassed, Janet thanked him and quickly urged the driver to move on. She heard another loud voice shouting and only to look behind to see Buddy, the Nissan driver. She screamed as she came across the store. She screamed. She screamed as she told the driver to accelerate. He wondered what could be stressing this passenger, but he followed her command. No sooner had they gone for about 200 miles or meters, then the driver looked into the rear mirror and saw a vehicle closely coming behind them. His instinct towards danger went up and he told Joanne, I hope your seatbelt is well tied. With that, an onlooker would have thought there was a safari rally competition between the two vehicles. In order to evade the chase car, the taxi driver took any available route, so he just drove on. All of a sudden, the bonnet of the taxi flew into the air, blocking the view in front of them. Oh God, save us! Joanne screamed. The driver maneuvered the car to a halt, albeit under a lot of stress, since he could not see the part of the road where he was driving on. He was blocked by the bonnet. Just as they were alighting from the vehicle, the chase car almost caught up with them. Joanne took to her heels into the nearby bush. She was glad she had been a champion in 100 meters dash in her secondary school days, till, out of lack of school fees, she had to drop out of school. She reached a certain compound, entered through the gate straight through into a doorway been left open. Where is she? She had a man ask about 3 minutes later. Her heart sank. She? Who are you talking about? I haven't seen anybody here, responded a man's voice. I'm talking about that woman who came in here, the voice insisted. What are you talking about? Don't you dare enter my house, threatened the owner of the house. We shall enter, and you can't stop us. With that, the two men stepped into the house. We are very sorry, sir. We disturbed you. We have not seen her. She had one of the men apologizing to the owner of the house 2 minutes later. Well, I told you that there was no one inside the house, was the response. From then on, Joanne kept quiet, and all she had was the sound of someone chewing sugarcane. Her mouth almost watered. Then she remembered she was under the bed. At the same time, a sneeze, which she had been trying unsuccessfully to stifle, came out loud and clear. Shh! In an instant, the owner of the house came into the house carrying a broomstick. It was raised, ready for battle. Meanwhile, Joanne was standing looking like a coat dipped in dust. Her hair was all messed up, and her blue dress had brown patches all over. She was dusty. Joanne, what are you doing here? The man asked with a broomstick mid-air. Pelo, I didn't know this was your house. You have really saved me today. Joanne responded, extending her hand to greet her husband's uncle. She had last seen him about 10 years before. Pelo calmed her down. Then she explained what had happened to her. They agreed that you'd take her to the house at around 6 o'clock in the evening. By then, they thought the men would have stopped searching for her. So, as they sat, the uncle explained to her that since his wife passed on, he had lived alone because the children were all grown up and they had left for their own houses. And of course, Joanne was sympathetic. At around 6 o'clock in the evening, Joanne and Pelo got into his vehicle to go to a house. As they reached the gate, she told him to stop the car. So, Pelo had stopped the car for Joanne to get out. On the left side of the path was a yellow bag that had been thrown. On top of it was a black thing. She gathered courage and went nearer. She picked up the bag, and her black belt was hanging by it. Quickly, she emptied the contents on the back side of the vehicle. On discovering that everything was intact, including her identity card, she told Pelo to drive on. When she reached her compound, she changed her mind at the gate and decided to pass by her mother-in-law's home first. Pelo refused to go in with her and dropped her by the gate. She was welcomed by a young man who ushered her into the sitting room. Her mother-in-law, who was aged considerably, came slowly supporting herself with a walking stick. On seeing her, the mother-in-law screamed. She thought she had seen a ghost. Why, am I seeing right? She wailed as she rubbed her aging eyes. Joanne, is that really you? Yes, ma'am, it is I, she responded, shocked. I can't believe it. He said you died. Who are you talking about? She inquired. Before the mother-in-law could respond, she told Joanne that 2 men had come to look for her in the afternoon. On missing her, they had left a message. What? Joanne shouted. Yes, 2 men came here, and I told them I had not seen you in the last 5 years. Oh, earlier on, I was talking about this person who said you had died. He was... Join me next time for the continuation of the story. Bye!